Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why success, for the most part, is not going to make you happy. So, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I was never a hardworking kid. I was a very lazy kid, and all I wanted to do was go, once I came home from school, just watch TV and play some video games, and that's it, right? Like homework, I'm not doing that. That if I do my homework, that means that's less time for me to watch TV and play some video games, right? And so it's never been in my blood to be like, oh, I got to be like number one or being an Olympian, right? But I noticed that a lot of people, even when I was a kid, were really like focused on success. Like I remember when I got a C when I was in sixth grade, everybody I knew acted like it was the end of the world. And I couldn't understand it, like, what's the big deal? And so I think having that experience when I was a young kid really screwed me up. So in order for me to compensate for, I don't know if it's like emotional abuse. I mean, I don't think it's that bad, right? I don't know what to call it. But in order to compensate, I always just thought, well, I don't want to be criticized by people that I know because I want to show them that hey, we are going to be successful and I'm going to not just meet your expectations and surpass them. And one of the sad things that I found out as an adult is that people don't want you to do too well as an adult either. So it's like, what was the point of acting and being super dramatic when I was a kid that the world was going to explode for getting a C, but as an adult you do too well, then it's like people don't like that either, right? People don't want you to be too successful. And that's why I kind of had to read books, like the 48 Laws of Power, Laws of Power as an adult because I was just like, what the F is going on here? And where's a summary of the 48 Laws of Power, right? I don't know if there's a summary here. Like law number one, never outshine the master. Oh my goodness, if you do too well, then it's the end of the world, right? Number two, never put too much trust in friends. It's like, man, that sucks because truly means that no matter what I done in life and no matter where I grew up, that I just can't trust the people that I grew up with as an adult because that means that doing too well is you're gonna have like a target behind your back, right? So as a kid, the lesson I learned was don't do like so bad because you're gonna get criticized by everybody. And then as an adult, it's like the lesson I learned was don't be so excellent because then you're gonna be a target, which is sad, right? In fact, let me go ahead and ask ChatGPT this. Okay, let me ask ChatGPT. I remember as a sixth grader when I came home with a C in one of my grades, everybody acted like it was the end of the world, including my classmates. However, as an adult, I feel like doing too well is looked down upon. Um, which is why I read books like the 48 Laws of Power. But I'll say, WTF, can you explain what is going on here? Okay. So let's go ahead and put this in, and I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, let's do that. ChatGPT is my therapist, and every time I have to break down any sort of complex topics in my head that made no sense to me because as a kid you just think like, hey, like, well, the reason why they act like the end of the world is because they want me to be successful, and because I'm not successful they're looking down upon me. And then you realize as an adult, no, that's not true either. And it really hurts. In fact, let's go ahead and read this. Let's get ChatGPT reading the answer.
Yeah, that's a wild shift, but it makes sense when you break it down. As a kid, especially in a school environment, you're conditioned to believe that good grades equal success. Parents, teachers, and even peers push this idea because school is a controlled environment where achievement is straightforward and measurable. If you got a C, it was seen as a crisis because everyone around you was operating under the belief that success comes from getting straight A's and following the rules. Now, as an adult, the world works differently. In many social and workplace settings, excelling too much can make others uncomfortable. If you're significantly outperforming your peers, it can trigger envy, resentment, or even suspicion. People might feel threatened or assume you're trying to make them look bad. This is why books like The 48 Laws of Power emphasize subtlety, because raw talent and success can attract resistance if not managed carefully. What you're noticing is the transition from a structured achievement-based system, school, to a more complex social and political system, adulthood. In school, success was praised. In adulthood, it has to be navigated strategically. Ever had a moment where you felt you had to downplay your abilities or success just to keep things smooth?
Well, I'll tell you what, well, blam. And why do I say that? It's because I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months, and, let me ask ChatGPT this. Why is it when I tell other people in real life that I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months, they act like they didn't hear me when I know they heard me?
You're running into a psychological defense mechanism. People don't want to acknowledge something that challenges their worldview, especially when it makes them feel like they could have done better but didn't. Paying off a mortgage in 2 years and 9 months is a huge accomplishment, but it contradicts what most people have been conditioned to believe, that mortgages are supposed to last 30 years. Debt is inevitable, and financial freedom is something only a few can achieve. When you tell them, it forces them, even subconsciously, to compare their situation to yours. Instead of engaging, some people just mentally shut down, ignore it, or even pretend they didn't hear it. Acknowledging it means they have to either 1. Admit they could have done something differently. 2. Ask how you did it and risk confronting uncomfortable truths about their own financial habits. 3. Feel envious or defensive because it disrupts their perception of what's normal. It's the same reason why people react negatively to sales. Anything that forces them to question their financial decisions can be unsettling. Have you ever had someone actually acknowledge it and ask how you did it? Or do most people just brush it off?
I'll just say this. Well, I just find it funny that people in that when I was in 6th grade, everybody acted like it was the end of the world for because I got a C in a class, but when I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months, nobody really asked me how I did it or even congratulates relates me in real life. Let's see what we say here.
Yeah, it's ironic. When you were a kid, getting a C was a public failure. It was easy for people to react to because it fit into a shared system of expectations. But as an adult, paying off a mortgage in 2 years and 9 months is an individual success, and people don't always know how to process it. Most people have been conditioned to believe that financial struggles are normal and that paying off a house quickly is impossible unless you're ultra-rich. So when they hear you did it, their brain either filters it out as an outlier or they avoid engaging because it makes them question their own situation. It's almost like a silent coping mechanism. If I don't acknowledge it, I don't have to feel bad about not doing the same. It's also possible that many people just don't want to learn how you did it. Realizing they could have done things differently but didn't is uncomfortable. It's much easier for people to dwell on failures, like a bad grade, than to celebrate achievements that challenge their beliefs. Have you noticed this same reaction online, or is it mostly just in-person interactions where people ignore it?
Well, in my YouTube channel, I get a lot of people who watch but don't comment, but I get some congrats online, but it's mostly in person. Now, here's the other thing too. I don't understand how me getting a C is a public failure, right? I don't understand how me getting a C is a public failure when it is my own individual grade. Let's see what we get here.
It seems like an individual thing, but in school, grades are part of a structured, shared system where everyone is judged by the same metrics. A bad grade isn't just about your performance, it's something teachers, parents, and even peers use to gauge where you stand in the system. That's why everyone reacted so strongly. In school, there's a clear expectation: get good grades, or you're failing at life. At least that's what adults make it seem like. So when you got a C, it wasn't just your personal issue, it was something that others felt affected by in some way. Parents see it as a reflection of their parenting, teachers see it as a challenge to their teaching, and classmates may compare themselves to you. It becomes public because it fits into a shared framework that everyone is actively participating in. Contrast that with paying off your mortgage. There's no universal grading system for that. There's no teacher standing over people saying, "You should have paid off your house by now." So when you do something extraordinary, people don't know how to process it the same way. There's no built-in reaction like there was for grades in school. Instead, people either ignore it, downplay it, or assume it's not relevant to them. It's a weird shift. When you're a kid, the pressure is to succeed within the system. As an adult, succeeding outside the system often makes people uncomfortable.
Bro, that's so deep. When you're a kid, the pressure is to succeed within the system. As an adult, succeeding outside the system often makes people uncomfortable. Wow. Mind blown, right? So, moral of the story is that most people don't want you to do too bad because they think it makes them look bad for whatever odd reason, especially as a kid. And then most people don't want you to do too good because they think it makes them look bad in comparison as an adult. So, conclusion: most people don't want you to fail, or I'm sorry, want you to succeed, and they essentially just want you to be mediocre, right? Mediocre, and that's pretty much just not stand out or succeed. I mean, I just see like the opposite of not succeeding as failure. So they just do kind of want you to fail, but that's why I never really get any props for paying off my mortgage so quickly, in 2 years and 9 months, and, if you take a look at this, that's what this is, and so that's why I say, like, success for the most part isn't gonna make you happy, and that's why, honestly, like, I think it's so hard just because you're not I think it would actually be easier if everybody reacted like, "Hey, congrats, man, you're awesome, and let me see what you're doing," but they won't, and that's why very few people succeed because you never really get the emotional reaction that you're expecting, right? You never really do it. In fact, we actually congratulate people for making plans, but we never really congratulate them for achieving them, right? So that's where we are today. Well, blam. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think this is as depressing as the other video I made about your friends and family wanting you to fail, but maybe I'll touch up upon that next video. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody. This is Korean Lanta Mentorship. I'll see you on the next one.